ONUS. Making business beautiful.
ONUS mission is about making business beautiful by fusing it with art and culture. How can a fashion company be launched in a difficult time, such as the COVID pandemic, and still be successful? Hello, I am Fiordi Pernaska.
I'm Beati.
And with our guest, Frosina Bollo, we will dive deep into the details of running a fashion company and launching it in a difficult period. And in difficult times, there are still opportunities. So Frosina will be sharing with us all the opportunities and the challenges she faced during this difficult time. Frosina, thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much for having me, guys. It's a pleasure.
There's a frost.
So what is the philosophy after Frobolous?
Okay.
How does it work? How did everything start? Why the name Frobolous itself?
Okay. I like that question, so thanks for asking me. Because actually, like, when people can read it, it can somehow bring into your mind also a bit of shallowism, let's say, because it means like it's my name, Frosina, and Fabulous, so it's a combination of both. But the idea behind that's why we have engraved in the, it's not just like, okay, to be fabulous as a brand, but the idea behind, that's why we have engraved the logo, the Phi letter from the Greek letters, which means we to achieve what it is, the golden mean. Okay. So the Phi, actually, we all know the P letter from the Greek letters, but actually the Phi has also a meaning, like it's an exact number that usually is used more in physics. And actually this number symbolizes the golden mean, when two extremes like equal each other. And that's kind of the philosophy of our brand, that we want to bring together kind of things that are seen as extremes. For example, innovation and tradition, or something in terms of products or garments, something that fits well and something that you also like.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes.
So it's like an equilibrium.
Exactly, like an equilibrium.
So interesting.
For the people that don't know your business,
yeah.
What is Frobolous?
What is that we do actually? Actually, the whole idea is to do with 2 words, to do personalized fashion. So meaning that we tried, like currently we have, when we started the platform, we had like 100 ideas. We tried to test and learn from all of these, what was working, what didn't work. We did a lot of research, but now at the moment we are in a more, let's say, we are still startup, but we are at a bit more mature stage. We've been in the market for 3 years. So currently it's a marketplace, it's a digital marketplace for European bespoke designers. Mm-hmm. Meaning that we are trying to collect like private label designers, people that actually produce beautiful things, unique things, but they produce in the terms or under the principle of slow fashion. Meaning that everything gets handmade, can be custom sized for that person, can be also be done some changes in the design. And the idea is to bring a product that is so unique and is made only for that person. Mm-hmm. We understood actually from the research, also from the main international brands, if you see, that one size fits all doesn't work anymore. So people are looking more and more for something unique or like an element that personalizes more than. So that's what we are trying to do with Frobolous.
So you launched during the pandemic period, right?
Yes.
How was it?
Well, when we first thought was like January 2020. So for us, and we launched like on
right before the pandemic.
Right before.
Wow.
We launched on the 7th of January. So we thought as a date, like was perfect, and the year, I guess, for many people seemed like very nice. So it seemed like the right period to launch. But actually, we had like two months that was a normal period, and then the pandemic started. I have to admit that was challenging, actually very challenging. The first 2 months were okay, like we started with all our marketing campaigns, with events and everything. The company started and it's still based in London. So we started a bit strong, and actually I remember myself thinking at that moment that why people complain about startups? Actually, this is easy. It's not that.
So it was good luck, not bad luck, launching in the period of the pandemic, in your case at least.
In my case, the first 2 months, I thought so. But then...
You thought it was bad luck?
Yeah, I thought it was good luck.
Good luck, okay.
And I thought it was easy because things were going, and I was thinking like why people complain about startups? Like it's not such a roller coaster. Actually, if you do your work, like you can get there. And if you had studied very well, like what you are offering and the products and everything. But then the pandemic started, and then was for us like something we could have never predicted.
Then you entered the roller coaster.
Then we entered
The scary roller coaster.
Exactly. And since then, it has been like a continuous roller coaster. Even though now, like for the last year, the things have been a bit more stable, but still, I think that period was so impactful, not just for Frobolous, but I guess for the whole industry, for the whole world, but especially for this industry, which actually had some good things that we took out of this, but mostly for us was challenging in terms of production, in terms of clients not needing the specific products. I remember when I had like some orders in March, and I had most of my ideas in Italy. But Italy was the first country that was hit severely from COVID. So I was trying to produce something, but they were telling me like, it's impossible. We're out of everything, and we're closed, and we're not even allowed to go out. But then it started also getting severe in London and everything, so even customers were starting to understand. However, I believe in these challenging times, what we try to do, especially like after the first or second month that we realized what was happening, then we try to readapt. In challenging or difficult periods, like you have two choices, either to shut down or close and give up, or then to kind of rethink and restructure, even recreate somehow yourself. So we adapted, and we started to look at other markets, look at other products, look at different ways how we could do things.
Because in difficult times, you also find a lot of opportunities, right?
Exactly.
Even in your case, in your industry.
Even in my industry, even though I had started the beginning just with dresses for special events, because this was a strong point at the start, as there was there was a gap for this kind of products. As we're trying to we provide like all these handmade and custom-made products, let's say, even for the dresses, but we provide them at we categorize ourselves as premium luxury, let's say, so at an affordable price.
Okay.
So that was something that was missing, especially in the London market. Like the alternative were either the fast fashion brands or the luxury brands. So both of them, they had some problems. So it was perfect. But at the moment of the pandemic, it was out of question. Nobody was looking for a product like this.
So you first launched in London.
Yes.
But why did you choose London and not Milan, for example?
Right. I chose London, first of all, because I was already based there. And I had seen like the market. I kind of got to know the market a bit more in depth. But the difference, I know also like the market of Milan, but the difference with Milan or Paris, let's say, especially in the fashion, is that you go to these markets when you are already ready. So, sorry, it's very difficult to start and to build a brand in these kind of markets, which are highly competitive, very picky, and they are well known for luxury brands. So especially in what I was offering, London is a very welcoming market for startups and for innovation, for new ideas. So I say you can build a brand in London, but then you can go and offer in Milan or in Paris.
Interesting.
So how did you decide to enter into the fashion industry?
Actually, this is more like a personal preference, let's say, or passion of mine. When I first started, like I always knew that I would have come to a point that I wanted to start my own thing. This a bit also inspired from my family history. Like I grew up in a family that they build their own business, and I saw the bad things of this, the challenging sides, but also the rewarding parts.
So you were infected by this entrepreneurial energy.
Exactly.
And you wanted to become an entrepreneur yourself.
Exactly. Even though the advice of my parents was always like, don't go into this road. It's always like that. But for me, like I really wanted to get and to experience that. And I always knew, like, since I was 18 or something like this. And I saw that also when you have your own business, you have to be like, you cannot really separate yourself from the business or your personal life from your professional one. So you have to work 24/7. I said, if I'm going to do this, better I do it in the industry that I really like. So it was like just personal preference.
Interesting.
And I think also, if I might add something on this, I think also that fashion, it's not it's very powerful as well. Like it can impact the life of people, especially I can talk also maybe for women more, especially for us women. It's not just like a dress, it's not just a garment, but when you put something that that makes you feel or makes you look better, it makes you also feel better. It's kind of your identity, it's kind of your image. It can boost your confidence if it's done right.
So it's palace in the air.
It helps, yes.
But I think female and men.
For sure.
Yeah, but there are more. Who do we want?
Yeah, we should have gender equality, right?
Yes, for sure.
Even though, as I recall, you only sell women's wear for the moment, right?
That's true. I started only with women's wear and we're currently only at that category, mainly because we are actually a team, the majority is women. It's not a gender bias, but it happened to be like that, maybe because like we know women better, so that's why. So yes, at the moment we are doing just that because we know how to do that better. However, I think there is a big potential also the menswear. So our future plans it's also to go there. So this is part of our our phase of evolving.
Yeah, that's good to know. But how is it leading a fashion company as a woman? I mean,
Yeah.
being in a leadership role as a woman, is it difficult in the fashion industry? Given that the fashion industry is highly competitive and very uncertain in the way that things will unfold in the coming near future?
Right. I think as in every industry, it is difficult and it's challenging to be on a leading position for any gender. But then also as a woman, it might have some more like challenging points, let's say. However, I'm a bit lucky because in this industry, it is common that you see women in managerial roles or in leading roles. But then the difficulty or the challenge for me was just the part that I'm not a designer myself. So I have the team of designers that they are doing this part. So
You are managing the company. You are directing
yes.
it.
Exactly. As the person who had like the idea, who founded it, and all the business person behind this. And sometimes in this industry, it's a bit difficult for people to understand the difference, that there is somebody specialized in that, and me, I'm only responsible for this part. Being said that, I've also like, when I started, it took me like 9 months to prepare the whole thing. So I kind of got into a deep self-learning about the industry, fabrics, yes, which is something that for sure, like every businessman knows that, or businesswoman know that they should know very well, like the product, the industry and everything, even though they might not be the one who are doing actually the technical part.
And what about a message that you'd like to give to a potential future woman business leader that is like in a phase where is uncertain whether to dive in to a value creating opportunity by an entrepreneurial spirit or just to stick to a job that is more secure and gives more predictable outcomes for the near future?
Right. Okay. Actually, I was in that position myself, so maybe I can help. Okay, I can give some advice for other fellow women, but even for men. So I guess it's the same when you are stuck in that phase. First of all, I believe you should question, like in each stage of your life that you are, either in a stable job or in a roller coaster or in whatever stage. Like you should always check with yourself the whys, because sometimes we get into a comfort zone that we're just used to do that, right? We're just doing our routines and everything, and we never stop for a second and ask ourselves why. Like, why am I doing still this thing? I believe it's very important to kind of have passions and go and risk things to follow your passions. For me, I was a bit lucky because I knew it at the early stage, but every stage that I was going through till I entered, like it took 10 years for me to start it from the moment that I realized to do this thing.
10 years?
Yes, exactly. Wow. Because in my mind, I had the idea that, okay, I had this idea that I want to start my business. I knew also like the challenging parts, and I didn't feel I was ready. So I wanted to get the experience first. So that's why I studied a certain specific subject, let's say. I went through jobs in international big companies. I saw different departments, how they were working. In order, you are never fully ready, but in order to come a stage and to say, okay, maybe I'm a bit more prepared to go and try my own things. But I'm sure if people really want, like, have a strong passion, no matter how long it takes for you to materialize that passion, it will still stick there, be there, and you will do it. So, yeah, I think it's important just to check with yourself in each stage that you are, if you are okay, or if you want to do something else and you are just afraid to take that leap.
So in your case, you had it planned from the beginning. You just went in other jobs to get some experience that you could use in your personal company when you open it in the future.
Exactly. Even though there was a stage, for example, before I started Frobolous, I worked for 4 years for Bayer, the pharma company, and it was like a nice experience because I was in a program that they were preparing for future CEOs. So every year I was changing country and job. That was a unique experience that I couldn't get even with my own company, let's say. And I have to admit, I was intimidating. At a certain point, I was like just negotiating or something with myself, saying that, okay, but still, if I want to do something entrepreneurial, I can maybe do it here. Like, why take all of this? And then I still remember there was, like, for me, was a switching point of all of this. But at that moment, I had a mentor. A very good mentor, actually, which was the CEO of Bayer Italy. And there was a moment I was completely sincere with him, and I told him that actually I want to go into something entrepreneurial, etc., etc. And then he said, look, okay, then I stopped my conversation here, because what you are doing right now, it's wrong. You are in the wrong place. If you say that this is really what you are doing, you are completely in the wrong place and you are doing the wrong things. Meaning that when you start your own company, there are thousands of functions in here in the multinationals that you don't even know that who does them. For example, I don't know, like somebody who is taking care of the internet or the web programmers, or even logistics. There were many things that we were not aware that okay, they were just functioning. And when you are going to have your own company, you have to take care from the small task till the biggest managerial strategical one. And then he told me, okay, and I really believe in this technique, so maybe I can leave like the listeners with one main takeaway. He told me, okay, go and do like a vision board, and I really believe in these vision boards. Like you draw
the one with pictures, right?
Exactly. You do it with pictures, you draw it. If you like drawing, personally I like drawing. You can just write it, whatever is your personal style that you feel more comfortable. Take a paper or something, divide it in half and write, where is your current life at this moment and when you want to be in 5 years. But don't just do it like as a bullshit interview, like you do it for you, not for the others, and be completely sincere. And include there professional, personal, where you want to live, like all the elements that you think is important. And I did exactly this, and then I saw that this was really my focus. So from that moment, I was like, okay, no more negotiation with myself. I know that I have to get there, and I want to get there, even if I regret it.
Interesting.
So here, let's suppose that I am a designer.
Yeah.
I have a fashion company.
Which you do have.
And they want to sell with Frobolous. How does it work? So what I have to do?
Right. You can just we have the links for designers that they can contact us. The designer just get in contact with us, or we might get in contact with them if you see as you Pirro, if we are looking to see your brand potential talents, let's say. So we get in touch and we discuss about the fit of the company. So if the requirements for us all choosing designers are that this is a private label designers, somebody who is creating its own product, let's say, that are authentic, that are producing small badges, or actually even better, that producing an atelier handmade. So we really want to respect the principle of sustainability. And then if we find the fit there, the style is not important, because we strongly believe that everybody has different style, everybody is unique. So that was also the main aim of Frobolous, to provide a platform that everybody can find their own style. We don't want to tell people how they should dress. We want them to know or to feel comfortable with what's their style and to come to us and be able to find that.
And to have a lot of choice.
Exactly.
At our platform.
Yes, exactly. So then we start if we agree, there is a simple contract that we do between each other. We put in the platform simple stuff like just the product, the pictures of the products and the description. We don't take an inventory because we have a principle that we don't want to create any waste or inventories and stuff like this. And then we have a 30% commission fee for every sale that is being made.
So fair enough.
Yeah. At the moment, this is the standard of the industry for marketplaces. So at the moment that the sale it's happening, then we inform the designer. It might start producing the product at that moment or have it ready. And then we do everything with prepayment and ship it to the customer.
So the designer ships it to the final customer, or you ship it to the final customer?
We take care of that. We do the packaging.
Okay, so the designer ships it to you?
The designer always, yes.
Okay. You ship to your final customer?
Exactly.
With the Frobolous brand?
Exactly. The label stays of the designer.
Yeah, I mean the packaging and everything.
Yes.
So Farfetch or Hughes.
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly the idea. Yes.
Very interesting. And you have been also operating from Albania currently.
Right. Yes.
How do you find it? Is it challenging? And what are the opportunities of operating through Albania for your platform, at least, which is global?
Yes. So as I was mentioning, we still keep the headquarters in London, but we have also this principle of remote working, flexible time with our employees. So there is a very small team in London at the moment, a bit of a bigger team in Athens, and here we have started since September to create a team here, which, as it seems, it's growing even better. I find maybe because I'm Albania, so I find it a bit easier to know people in here, to find talent. So talent acquisition is always challenging, but somehow in here it's working well. And people, maybe it's this industry, but I see that people are really thirsty, to work on nice stuff, innovative platforms with other young people in the woodworking environment. Especially in this industry, there are not so many opportunities as they see in Albania.
But you also save on costs by working from Albania, because here the wages are lower and the taxes as well, right?
Yes, I think there are also some opportunities, cost-efficient opportunities to explore in Albania. You find that there is a skill, if I might call it, not workforce talent, skilled talent that come at a cheaper cost, let's say. So that's definitely an advantage. That's why there's one point that I'm doing here. I'm kind of developing the design of the production, let's say, department of the company.
Of your own brand?
Yeah.
Because you are also producing.
We're producing just a little bit, but also administrative. I mean, to manage all these other designers. Okay,
the back office.
Yes, exactly. Meaning that because another reason is that also because I have a lot of designers from Albania, and I want to push it. I want to have as many designs as possible from Albania, from Kosovo, because I feel especially digitally, there is not a lot of opportunities here. And also sometimes the designer is a creative person. These are people that they've been in the industry for 20 something years. They're used to do the things in a certain way, and they don't want to be bothered so much with the managerial or the innovative side of the business. They want to stay creative. Yeah. So there is exactly the moment where we came in hand, because we do the rest and we leave them doing what they do best, which is creating and preparing beautiful garments.
Currently, how many Albanian designers?
We have around 20 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
Designers or fashion media, the brands?
There is a mix. Mostly are designers. One thing, for example, that I found in this industry in Albania is that it's difficult somehow to create for the companies there or for designers here to convert themselves from designers to a fashion brand. because when you are a fashion brand, like you have to create the whole marketing storyboard behind the full company. So mostly they still are sticking at this stage, even though they have a lot of potential though.
But through your platform, they can achieve their highest potential if they get to have a certain amount of orders, which will help them finance their scale up, right?
Yes, exactly. And we also like take care to do the marketing for them. Doing the marketing for them is the marketing for us, so it makes sense. We go and we grow hand in hand. So most of the times we do also like the photo shooting for them, the marketing materials. We do the ads, the social media, the website pieces. So we prepare a lot of this part. And I think I'm also glad that we have managed to sign as many Albanian designers as possible, because something that was also a bit challenging is to put all of these designers together, to start and to work together. They were at the beginning seeing each other as competitors, but sometimes you need like a middleman or a middle person to tell that, okay, you do different stuff, you don't have to compete. Actually, if you come together into something, this something becomes
you can collaborate.
more exposure. So it's good to collaborate, even within one industry.
And what about the workforce here in Albania? Because a lot of businesses are saying that it is increasingly difficult to find talent in Albania, because a lot of the people that are capable of doing very complicated work are willing to leave the country for a better future somewhere else.
Right.
And even at our previous podcast with the CEO of a very big financial company, he addressed this problem by the solution of offering a better wage for your staff in such a way that you will be able to attract the best talent, and you have to also offer them like in which they would be feeling as part of the company. So they would be felt as values. Is this a problem in your industry as well?
I see. I think he's right, meaning that this is definitely a challenge. Also myself, like some time ago, I was in a round table with some Albanian companies, different industries, and everybody was speaking that the biggest problem for them was like the lack of talents, of staff, that they were leaving and going abroad. But according to even some studies, some university have done this, I think this is a bit of more complex issue that I don't think it can be solved just with the increase of the wages, because there are a lot of companies, especially software companies, let's say here, that they have actually done that, upgraded that, and still people are leaving. I think it's a more of a macroeconomic topic than just microeconomic topic. Because even myself, like on the start, what I saw, like first when you come to Albania, you have this perception that, okay, you can find like cheaper workforce, but then the standards increase. And as the standard increase, of course, also the wages will increase. So even for us, we are paying like decent salaries, let's say, for the cost of living.
Higher than average.
Higher than average, yes, I can say that. But then, like this movement of people trying, especially the young people wanting to go abroad, they don't do it only for the wage. They do it for a lot of other reasons. Maybe they do it for job security. Maybe they do it also for the many opportunities that they have abroad to grow. They do it for the stability of the political environment, let's say. For the opportunities, I don't know, to buy a house, to buy a car, to buy other things that secure their lifestyle or provide them a better lifestyle. Things that are not so easy attainable here in Albania.
But I also think that the majority of people that are willing to leave the country are mostly idealizing about the benefits that they will get at the country that they will go, because they have not been in their past living in that country. So they are, or the maximum that they have done is like visiting the country as a tourist, but that is totally different from living in the country. So what I suggest that people that are willing to leave Albania for another country is just to go and to test the country before, to stay 1 month, 2 months or 3 months, I don't know. And then they can get a real feel on how they will be able to integrate themselves in that country, and that they have to do a pros and cons list on what is the advantage and disadvantage of that country compared to the advantages and disadvantages of staying and living in Albania or any other country. So the decision would be more rational from their part, in such a way that they do not get stuck in something that they over-idealized as much better and with much higher opportunities, what then cannot be the case necessarily.
True. That's true, what you say, that there is a bit of over-idealizing, which I think is normal, not just for us, the Albanians, but even like Italians who wanted to go to the US. They over-idealize when they go, like I believe this is a common thing or phenomena for many other populations. However, I believe in case of Albania, what is different is the fact that sometimes some of the people who make this decision, they are lacking also the basic opportunities. And if I haven't done any specific research essay, but even for personal story of myself or of friends of mine, I've done just like a simple comparison. Has my life been elevated when I had an experience abroad? If I did with somebody that did an experience abroad and somebody who didn't do it. So even for me, like if I arrived at this stage, is because I studied to a very good university abroad. I had the experience that I had. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't even think that how many other ways were possible in terms of innovation, in terms of work experiences, in terms of also to grow yourself and develop yourself as a person, socially, culturally. It's not just the professional and the monetary part of the things. There is also another bunch of culture, social environment, etc., that makes us happier at the end of the day. If I see like friends of mine, like I have a very good friend who has started, he's very successful, has done a big company here, but it's because he found a specific contact when he did his experience abroad through a master again. Another friend of mine that if she would have stayed, like she had a nice job in Albania, but if she would have stayed in Albania, then she would have grown till a certain level. Then when she moved abroad, she had like a very quick career progression. And these people were the same in Albania or abroad. It's just that the opportunities are bigger there. Yeah. Then I believe there is another stage when people they grow, they do, like it's important to move and see different stuff, especially for our generation. Yeah. That's why we also travel so much. Then what you do with these skills, at the moment that you are ready to maybe invest something or do something else, then you might be considering, or I think I really recommend it to consider then
switching to some other place.
Yes, switching, or even like going back to Albania and thinking about advantage, disadvantage, because when you get search for this place, from this place, then you see the good side and the bad side.
Sure, but furthermore, you should also be able to find your life's task, your calling in life.
Exactly.
Because this is a conversation that I do often with Pirro. For example, that Pirro is a person that has found this calling in life.
Right.
And he has dedicated his life to this calling, and he is a master now. And he is known of being a master in the industry in which he operates. But a lot of people have a difficulty to find the calling of their life.
Right.
And they tend to be stuck in a certain pattern or in a certain work in which they feel unfulfilled. And they have anxiety, they have signs of depression, and they do not understand where this comes from. But the fact is that the further we go from our calling in life, then the less happy we will feel.
True.
So in your case, what is the suggestion that you give to young people or to not so young people that have not still found their calling in life? How should they approach this situation, and how should they turn inward in such a way that they will be able to find what makes them tick? What is the thing that they can do that no one else can do, basically?
True. I think in case of people like Pirro, for example, that are lucky to know their calling from early stage and everything, and they are really focused on that they never like dismiss the road or make other choices, these people should feel like should be very thankful to that, that like feel lucky and protect it. It's also important because it's not just important to find a calling, but then also to build on that and to protect it and to grow with it. So yes. For the rest of us who maybe are confused, and I think this is also a general phenomena, especially in our generation, millennium, and then Zeta has also a certain of other more issues, let's say, that we have come to a point that everything somehow is possible. We are more exposed to information, to mass media, to possibility, to choices. We can live our life here. We can do this profession, then we can switch to another country. We can do another thing.
So we have a lot of options, and that gets us stuck.
And this is overwhelming, exactly. Sometimes when you have a lot of options, it's difficult to choose. We don't have a blueprint anymore.
Sure.
Like in the baby boomers generation of our parents, at least they had a blueprint. They kind of, the path was set for them, that you go, you do a profession, start to school, you work in what you studied, and then you get married, and then life continues. For us, now in our generation, we study different stuff. We might work completely different other things. We might switch 5 jobs, I don't know. So it's very common to do that, to play with alternatives, which I think is good on one side that we do have, but this is the issue that we're like, you have so many choices that you don't know to choose anymore. The only thing that you can do
That's like a curse. Having so much choices.
Kind of, if you think a bit about that. And maybe that's why we're also hearing a lot of issues like with mental health. I was hearing like some days before, like 20 years old, saying that I want to go to a psychologist, I have these mental issues. Also, I think maybe because we're exposed to all this kind of information, we have become also oversensitive towards anything. I always say that what I say also to myself is that when I find myself into difficult moments, for sure we all have this difficult moment, emotional, psychological, physically, whatever, like not take yourself too seriously. We have come to a point that we take everything so seriously that we put too much pressure on ourselves. Maybe we should take everything with a pinch of salt or with humor and not take ourselves so seriously or what our mind is doing.
Sure.
But for the important stuff, as you were saying, it's important to work with yourself, like to have a vision, because life
And to know yourself, furthermore.
exactly, and to
So you can decide what is the best thing and the best route you can choose to follow.
right. And a certain point, like even look yourself in the mirror, make an analysis, and admit it to yourself. That's the most important. You might not admit it to others, but what you are good at, what you are bad at, or you might want to improve, let's say, and be aware with yourself, who you are, what you do, like what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and what are the things that you are good at and you actually enjoy doing. And these are exactly the things that you should develop, people should develop, and maybe try to put these dots together and create a profession out of that. Today there are so many new professions and businesses created, even professions that haven't existed, and now they have become crucial for a company or even like as a service to be provided.
Yeah, but I also think that some other part which also helps in finding your calling in life is having the right role models in which to aspire to. And what is your opinion regarding the current role models here in Albania?
Right.
I mean, like generally, because we do not see a lot of value-creating role models, unfortunately. We have this vulgar materialism, which is exposed in social media, in the media in general, in television, and in the programs that are being promoted mostly, especially in Albania. And I think that this thing distorts the perception of a role model for the young generation. And instead of having like a value-creating role model, for example, like a person like you that has been investing in this idea for so long, with all these difficulties, these ups and downs, failing, learning, refailing and learning, continuing, not having this pattern in which to refer, they see this one-night success stories, which are not one-night success because they cannot be considered one-night success, even because they are not mostly legal. The people that are being referred to as role models, unfortunately, and they have this tendency to want everything not for tomorrow but for today. So they are not, so they are not willing to put in the work and the sacrifice to achieve something that will last in the future.
Exactly. What you pointed out, it's I think it's a very, very, very valid message to put out there. That really, like, my advice would be, guys, just go out there and like read, study, research the people that you want to be like. So if you really read the stories, even of Bill Gates or whoever, like Jeff Bezos, Shirley, the most successful people who inspire you, like none of them did it overnight. Even though that was a different period, that internet was just like, they were the first mover advantage, but still they put a lot of work and a lot of suffering. They went through a lot of tests and learnings and failures and lessons, etc., until they managed to get into that. So first of all, like this success overnight, with a normal working environment, let's say, or like a legal working style of way of working, it cannot be achieved over time. And when you know as well, like when you first become entrepreneur, start something of your own, the first lesson that you have to learn is patience. Like you really need to want that very bad, and you really need to have patience, because even though you can prepare yourself for stuff, only when you are on the way on your journey of doing that, then you understand how difficult and how challenging it can be from a lot of perspective. So you have to be patient, to be persistent, and to be really patient, and really re-ask yourself every time, like, why am I doing this? Why I want this so much to happen? Mm-hmm. I think the lack of role models, it's kind of an issue in here in Albania. Especially, this is one of the first things that I saw after coming back, when I came back after 10 years here. For women, I see that the only role models here are like the showbiz girls, or that are being like, they are taking care of themselves,
like having a good life
and everything, and
showing all of the positive aspects of their life in social media.
Exactly. And they don't justify like what did this person do and how they get there. So there's always like a certain story behind. It's not only like the hard work of that person. But I think there are a lot of other people in here, women and men, who have done beautiful things. Like they have created their own businesses, or they have succeeded in other areas, other professions. They have worked hard and they have achieved, and maybe they have even like achieved to go international or overseas. But there is a lack of these figures to be more like highlighted in the media, and I say. And we, especially the young generation, have more and more need of seeing different role models. There might be like a comparison that I always make is a bit, for example, with London or the UK. There, something interesting was like the lack of conformity or the diversity, let's say. There are different role models when you see around the city. You see somebody who wants to live like a very simple, geekish, whatever lifestyle. There is somebody who wants to live like the luxury lifestyle. Somebody who wants to be like a housewife. Somebody else who's like the CEO of the company. And these people are also, they have different lifestyles, they have different way of dressing, different way of talking and doing their vacation or raising their families. So there are alternatives, and you can choose like in which group you fit in. Here I see there are kind of one option for men and one option for women. And we have all to conform into those figures. But these skills, talents, and people who are a bit players or who just need to find their own environment in order to grow. Yeah,
but I don't think it's a lack of role models, but I think it's a lack of highlighting the right role models. Exactly. Because there are a lot of people, as you said, as you mentioned, that are working day after day, achieving great results in different industries, but they are not highlighted.
Exactly.
So what I think is imperative is to highlight these beautiful value-creating case studies, which is one of the missions of ONUS, to highlight these value-creating role models in which people can not only learn from their experience, but also get inspired. And the new generation can find new role models where to aspire to.
Exactly. That's why, like, you guys are really doing a great job here. I mean it. Like, from the first moment that you told me about the whole idea of ONUS, I think it's beautiful and it's very much value created, as you said, in Albania. So, well done and congrats.
So I have the last question.
Yes.
Where do you see Frobolous in 5 or 10 years now?
Actually, I see it in a very different.
With pictures.
Yes, I do have that. And actually, this is the first picture that I had in my mind, and I really want to get there. Like, no matter if it works or doesn't work, I want to bring it at that stage. Because you might know, like, when you start to have like this big idea, and then the reality hits, you evaluate what are the costs of doing this, what are the stuff that you need, what are the skills that you need yourself as well in order to do something big. You also grow into a startup, you grow as well, and you acquire new skills in order to be ready for a bigger stage, let's say. So the first 2 years, Frobolous was an MVP, the minimal viable product. So we were just testing the idea of personalized fashion, and we tested a lot of other stuff till we got to the idea that we're doing what we're doing right now, like we're a marketplace that offers personalized service and fashion. The next big thing that we want to do is to actually like create a real platform that does exactly this, still sticking loyal to the idea of personalized fashion, but in a more innovative way, by incorporating there also like the 3D figures. So imagine like you'll have this application on your phone that you'll enter. You start like by creating your profile. The profile that it will be kind of a hybrid between social media and e-commerce. So you'll create your own profile, but through an avatar.
So everything will be virtual.
It will be virtual, but still it will have some like real stuff and physical products. That's why I said like a blend. So you'll create this avatar that resembles you and everything. You'll put like some information about yourself, and then you go to the category when we have all the designers. And now the product that you have there, it will be also pictures to see the real product, but they will be also digital twins, meaning that programming of the garments. So you'll be able to kind of wear these dresses, garments, whatever, all the accessories, all the type of products to the avatar, see how well it fits, and then do also changes. Then the customers there can do like 1,000 changes, whatever they like. They will not be limited only to 6 degrees of personalization that we have right now. And then share it with their peers. So another element that is important, this experience brings us one step closer to the offline experience, which is the aim of every online platform. Then the other thing is when we try something new, we always have this need to like take some opinion or like ask maybe family, friends, whatever, if before buying it. So they will have the chats instantly to share it with their peers and take comments before they purchase it. Then they can purchase it. And then there will be also the other stuff of
So this is the vision of Frobolous.
Yes, this.
Okay.
So that's why I said like e-commerce still, but with the social media incorporated. It will be a platform all about fashion, of course.
Wow, nice. So for all the listeners that are into the fashion industry, they have to be part of this platform. So apply.
Hope so, yes.
Because it will be big in the future. So you will gain and only gain by working and collaborating with this beautiful platform, which gives a market to entrepreneurs that are in the fashion industry but have a small market and cannot access this bigger market. So through this platform, they can access a much bigger market and have much greater returns.
Exactly. Thank you very much. And I hope like listeners that join, that are in this industry, they can exactly join us, because for sure, one thing is for sure, that this is just the beginning. So we have like bigger and stronger plans.
We'll have another podcast when the time comes.
When the time comes. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us.
It was a pleasure. I really enjoyed it.
ONUS. Making business beautiful.